Hello and welcome back to whatever, baseball and whatever that is. I'm Greg and this is episode 007 of Consider Them Slimed. And I know I talked about before about how we were going to revisit the video game backlog, but the hell with that because it's 007. You guys know I'm a huge Bond fan on the podcast. If you go back and listen, we interviewed Joe Darlington for episode 3, I think, where we kind of talked about GoldenEye and the upcoming Bond 25, No Time to Die, and where we were at with that. And then we also interviewed Bill Koenig, where we mainly talked about Michael Keaton Batman, but we mixed in a little bit of Bond in there too. But anywho, joining us today on Slime is Shayla Miller from Twitter. You can follow her on Twitter. She has awesome Bond tweets. And I had to bring a Bond guest, a Bond fan on the podcast because, as you know, Vinny and Justin do not respond well to any of my Bond knowledge that I do on our regular episodes. So, Shayla Miller, welcome to Baseball and Whatever, and Consider Them Slimed.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. I'm thrilled to be here. Let's talk Bond. Wish I had a mojito.
I know it seems very fitting right now, but see, already my phone's going off, but we'll just ignore that. So Shayla, first of all, where are you joining us from today?
I am joining you from the East Coast of Canada.
Awesome. And how did you become a Bond fan? What kind of started it all?
So I think what started it, it's hard to think back. I don't remember what I ate for lunch yesterday, let alone where this all started. But I think from what I can piece together, I watched Mrs. Doubtfire and I fell in love with Pierce Brosnan.
All right.
Yeah, he's the first actor that I've ever just adored. And he's just stuck with me I'm 31 now, and I think I was 11 when this all started. So
awesome.
So I wanted to look into more of his films, and of course Bond popped up. So my mom rented Mount the Golden Gun and The World Is Not Enough from the library for me. And I watched the Mount the Golden Gun first because I thought, I'll probably like that one less because I just was so in love with Pierce.
Yeah.
But turned out when I started The World Is Not Enough, I was like, wait, do I actually like Roger more as Bond? I was conflicted for a while, but then half hour in, I'm totally sold. He's my favorite Bond. And so he's kind of, I guess, the gateway to Bond. And I've just loved it ever since. And I have started a whole Bond tattoo sleeve.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah, it's just
I am so jealous. I am so jealous.
It's all my favorite things. We've got the GoldenEye key, and I do little pre-title stuff too. So that's one of the girls from The World Is Not Enough.
Yeah.
And then we've got, it's hard to show it off, but the Golden Gun.
I see it right there. Yep. Right.
Yeah.
Right, yep.
We've got the tarot cards. It's very Roger Moore heavy because I find he has the most visually beautiful.
Absolutely.
thing.
Some of the more colorful movies and some of the more iconic scenes or props or moments, I think. You're blowing me out of the water. All I have is that right there.
Oh, that's nice.
My tribal son. It's not Bond related. And then I have my.
That just means you have to get Bond related.
Right, I
ones.
do. I have my Beast Claw.
Ooh.
Right here. But also
cool.
that's actually a couple's tattoo I got with my wife for our anniversary.
So
that
sweet.
is very special. But I got a whole open arm right here that I need some Bond stuff now, I suppose. So
yep, do it.
I gotta get going on that. I think so. But Shayla, like you said, for me too. I know I said on the podcast before. I'm 32. It all started with Brosnan with me and GoldenEye. When I said it to Joe Darlington when he was on of being James Bond, the last two missions were, Aztec and Egyptian, and it featured Jaws and Baron Samedi. And when I saw GoldenEye, the movie I saw it after the game. I'm like, hey, wait a minute, where are these characters at? I'm like, they're supposed to be a dude with metal teeth. And that was what kind of introduced me to the rest. I'm like, oh, they were in other movies. And lo and behold, here's a whole library of Bond movies dating back to the 60s that I just absolutely adored as a kid. But it all started there with good old Pierce. So
yeah, he's iconic. He kept the whole series alive because it could have died with Dalton. It could have
yeah.
not continued.
Some people thought it might have with that 6-year gap, and now we're kind of living that ourselves in a different sort of way because we still have the same bond and we have a continuing story with No Time to Die coming up. So we are actually actively waiting for a sequel to a movie that's, been going on almost 6 years now, or maybe 6 years. I can't even remember. But so we will, we're still waiting, I suppose, but it's coming around,
I hope it's good.
Long. I hope we're on track here and we get a release. So, but either way, so today what we're going to be doing is pretty simple, actually. We're going to play a little game, and I hope to kind of make this a reoccurring thing on Slimed because let's face it, I've complained. Those who listen to the regular podcast, I've done my complaining about La Russa or other coaches in Chicago, and I'm looking to change this up a bit. And for those of you who don't know, consider them Slimed. I stole from Tomorrow Never Dies when Mr. Tom Wall is played by, Mr. Old Man Michael G. Wilson, in his little weird cameo he has there with Elliot Carver, where he threatens to blackmail the president and goes, "Consider them slimed," or "Consider him slimed." So I was like, oh, that always kind of stood out to me as a kid. And that was my first ever Bond movie. So lo and behold, I have this later. But so what we're going to be doing, we are literally going to take all 24 Bond movies. We're not including Never Say Never Again or 67 Casino Royale, just the Eon ones. I am going to put each, literally, we're going to be pulling them out of a hat. And for those of you who can appreciate this, I have the 2005 Chicago White Sox World Series champion hat. That's my favorite hat. And here I have the Bond movies folded up in paper where I will place them in the hat. And what I'm going to do is we do a lot of top 5 on baseball and whatever. So I'm going to draw 5 random Bond movies out of the hat. And Shayla and I are going to, rank them individually from 5 to 1 that we like the least to our favorite, even though I love most Bond movies, so it's hard to say the least, but I do love some more than others. I'm sure you do too, Shayla.
100%. Some of them are,
some of them are a little shaky, but we still love it because we're huge fans of the franchise. But yeah, there are some really, I don't really watch that one too often. So
there's something to love in all of them, though. So that's what's beautiful.
There absolutely is.
About
you are absolutely right. So I've chatted long enough. Should we get this list going? Should we just? All right, let's get it going. All right, we're gonna draw our first movie out of the hat here, and we give it a little shake.
I'm even ready to write it down.
All right, I got my list too. So, oh boy, here we go. This one definitely is controversial amongst Bond fans. We got Quantum of Solace right there. Daniel Craig's second outing. All right, that was the first one I drew. I'll leave it to the side so I don't.
That might be an easy least favorite. Well, depending on what else we get, we'll see.
That's true. Okay, here we go. Ooh, we have Dr. No.
Yes.
We have to link these on the fly right here. So far, it's pretty easy for me.
Yeah.
All right, next one. Oh my goodness.
Oh,
From Russia with Love.
Oh,
I think I know where that one's going.
Oh no, I can't tell by the way you said it. I don't know if it's positive or negative. I like this. And mystery.
To be fair, it's like I think we follow each other on Twitter, but this is the first time we're ever talking, so we actually don't know our Bond movie preferences yet. So I'm going to try not to reveal anything more, but it's going to be fun to see where this goes. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Next one. Uh-oh. Ooh, I brought this one up already. Tomorrow Never Dies. Okay, we got good variety here. We do. All right, and the last one for today. Oh man, we have Moonraker. What a list! All right,
holy.
Let me catch up here. So, Tomorrow Never Dies. And Moonraker. So just to go over what we drew again, it was Quantum of Solace, Dr. No, From Russia with Love, Tomorrow Never Dies, and Moonraker. those are the five. We're gonna rank individually. We're gonna have our own lists, and we're gonna go from. We'll start at 5 least favorite to 1 our favorite. So, do you have your list ready?
Oh, it's ready.
Is it ready to go?
Yep.
I gotta finish up mine right here.
I found it quite easy, actually.
Yeah, actually, you know what? Now that I'm looking at it, I think it's not so bad. So, I think you and I are gonna have different least favorites, but I'm gonna let you go first, Shayla, because you are the guest, and that's only polite. So, Shayla, let's have your number 5 out of that list.
Okay, so I think as a shock to nobody, my number 5 is Quantum of Solace.
Quantum of Solace.
I appreciate when I first watched it way back in the day, I was so turned off. I didn't like it at all.
Okay. Yeah.
But now I'm starting to come around to the good aspects of it.
Okay.
The last time I watched it, it's speedy. It gets the job done. The editing's a little bit all over the place. But I mean, for being created during a writer's strike, I think they did what they could, and there's a lot of good action sequences, but it kind of missed the mark, especially coming after Casino Royale. That film was just, that was incredible.
Right.
So to have the follow-up kind of, and the title song, Another Way to Die, that is just hard to listen to for me. That's like the instrumental is good. Mm-hmm. That's how I usually listen to it without the vocals, but I don't know what they were thinking.
Okay. All right. I will save my thoughts for when I share where it's on my list. Do you have any more thoughts on good old QOS? I'm sure you can go on. I'm sure you can go on. But all right. My number 5 is Moonraker. And I feel, like I said, I feel bad saying that because I do actually like Moonraker. Some people actually, I don't want to say despise it, but it's really one they rarely ever watch. There are a lot of good moments of it. The first half of the movie is actually pretty dark, but then it just kind of takes a turn for me. And like I said, I really do like the movie. I love the character Jaws, obviously, and that's his return. It got some of that cable car stuff got a little silly for me. And I don't really appreciate Lois Child's acting in the movie. It kind of falls flat. Her playing Dr. Goodhead, and the space battle though that doesn't really bother me that much. I know it came after Star Wars, and they kind of wanted to I don't want to say copycat, but they kind of wanted to stay relevant in that aspect because that kind of changed cinema a little bit. So, like I said, big fan of the movie, but as far as this list goes, I'm like, yeah, that's probably my least favorite out of the names we pulled right here. So number 5 for me is Moonraker.
That's fair. But I have to say, though, that space battle, because I just watched it, because right now I'm doing
That's right, yeah.
I'm doing a Bond bowl, so I'm pulling the movies out of a bowl, and that was the newest that I just did that one. And the space battle, the way it looks, it really holds up. Like it does. It looks good.
Yeah, that was actually pretty, close to what George Lucas did, at the time, because I think Star Wars 77 and Moonraker was 79, maybe, so it was right at the tail end of that. But yeah, it holds up. It's not so bad. So yeah, there we go. Number 5, Moonraker for me. Shayla, what's number 4 on your list?
So number 4 for me is Moonraker.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Because I that was another film when I first watched it. I just thought, oh my gosh, I can't believe they took Bond to space. And and I just, because I don't know how old I would have been. I think I watched all the films before Die Another Day came out, which was 2002.
Okay, yeah.
So I must have watched it when I was 11 or 12. And I just thought, wow, why would they do that? But it's definitely like Quantum of Solace. It's one that I've grown to appreciate more. It is really dark. Mm-hmm. Is her name Corinne?
Corinne DeFore, that was her name, right? The helicopter pilot, his personal assistant.
Yeah, her death is just I
had
so
trouble.
dark.
Like I saw that as a kid, I'm like, I was like, I always want to get past that scene because it was so uncomfortable. But as an adult, you appreciate it and how troubling and dark it really is, and how evil it is. But
Absolutely.
I think Roger Moore is just on point with the quips and the "did I" and all that. So I was like, I really do appreciate that. But yeah, I mean, I saw it as a kid too, and I was just like, man, they're really doing it. So
Yeah.
it's like only Roger Moore,
Yeah, true enough.
Uh,
Yeah, so I do love the movie quite a lot. It's jumped up in my rankings a lot, but it's also one I don't revisit that often. Like I couldn't tell you one quote from it. Like
sure.
but which sounds bad. Like maybe am I a true Bond fan? No. I am, but
Yeah. No, you are. You
yeah.
are. Don't worry.
It's just one that, like I just
Yeah, kind of
it's
on your
good and I
wish list.
appreciate
Yeah.
it, but yeah,
Yeah. Number 4 on my list is Quantum of Solace, and I actually really like Quantum of Solace, and I liked Quantum of Solace when it first came out.
Really?
I took it for what it was. I saw it there. I'm just like, okay, I understand. I took it as like the epilogue of Casino Royale, which kind of it was. It was like it's like the shortest Bond movie. And it just and I agree with everything that people have said about some of the editing. They can't take in a lot of the thing that drives me nuts about that movie. Well, first I'll say this: I do love the action sequences, and I just kind of like the way it goes a little bit. Just it I kind of like the fast paced nature of it a little bit. Maybe that I find appealing, but there's plenty wrong with the movie. Don't get me wrong. I mean, the title of it is fine, Quantum of Solace. I kind of like that they use the Fleming short story title a little bit, even though it has nothing to do with the story. But it was kind of fitting for where the story was at that point, especially if they're going to make a sequel. But then you call the bad guys Quantum, and I know they didn't have the rights to Spectre or whatever, but it's like that calling the bad. I mean that doesn't really do anything. I mean, you're just trying to justify the use of the title or something like that. But yeah, as far as that goes, I love Olga Kurilenko as Camille, and I'm really happy they brought back Renee Mathis in the movie. So and I was never at the point where I just like Quantum of Solace. It was just always a movie I enjoyed from the beginning. So
That's awesome. And that's what's so cool about Bond. You're always going to find people that agree with your opinions on, like, because like, I mean, I don't know many people who like Quantum. I now know you.
Now you know
but that's
me.
just so cool though. But that's what's so cool about it. Like, it's cool that like that such different things can resonate with different people. Like, I just think it's just really cool how people's brains work and what we like and what we don't like.
And I'll admit to you, Shayla, too, that I bordering really, really enjoy the Jack White and Alicia Keys song. And I know that I am alone in that. And that's one thing I didn't like from the beginning, because I first played the song when the music video came out before the movie was released. I'm just like, no way this is ever gonna work. I'm like, what is White Stripes thinking? But then when I saw it in the movie, I'm like, I kind of like this. And I was like, oh, this is just trash. I'm just like, I kind of like it, but I never said anything. So, and it's still one like that. If it pops on the playlist or whatever, it's like, yeah, I'm sticking around for it. It's a non-skip for me. So everyone thinks I'm crazy, but it grew on me over the years, I suppose. So.
The music is really good and the lyrics are really good. I just don't know why don't sing them in tune. That's my only problem.
Yeah, I know that is. Your ears kind of hurt some when Alicia Keys tries to get up high there. I'm like, she's at a different pitch than Jack White is. But
it's weird though, because she can do it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's the thing.
Both of them are so talented. What happened?
Right. I think they tried to go for the mix of styles, and it clearly didn't work or whatever. Or at least the song he was trying to write was not to her strengths, I suppose. But she still sounds great in the song. Don't get me wrong.
She does,
So there's some parts where it's a little pitchy right there. But
and it's a shame though, because I feel like Another Way to Die has scared Barbara and Michael into because when you look at the songs that have come after Skyfall, Writings on the Wall, No Time to Die, they are all the same song almost.
They pretty much are. They're the same notes pretty much. So.
And I know for me, I was super bummed to hear No Time to Die because I love I like the song because I like Billy and I like Phineas. I think they're incredible. Yeah. They're so incredibly talented. But it almost feels like they weren't allowed to go for it. Like they like it all like, and I could be
Yeah.
wrong here. It's just how I feel about it because Billy's music is unbelievable, and she always puts such interesting sounds and stuff in her song. Like she like they're in her song "Bad Guy," she has this noise. It's like this ticking because it was
Hmm.
for like it was a crosswalk. They were on tour or something like that, and a crosswalk was
Okay.
making the noise. So Phineas recorded it and put it in "Bad Guy." Like they're always doing
Really? Okay.
yeah, they're always doing such cool things. And so, but then you hear "No Time to Die," and it's good. It's good. I listen. I don't skip it,
Yeah.
but
Well,
I just
that's interesting what you said right there, because that's what it first felt like to me. And I had, I knew the name Billie Eilish. I don't necessarily listen to her music, and she's a very talented singer, but the song fell flat for me when I first listened to it. I'm still kind of coming around to it a little bit, but that's interesting what you said, because I would have loved, like, if she and Phineas took like a bigger risk with it and were able
mhm.
to do more of their stuff on it and made it more of their own, maybe like that might have been interesting. Like I could appreciate that a little bit
Yeah.
more. But when they first announced her, I was like, I'll be honest, I was like, I didn't know who she was, and then I found out the revelation that she is, and how she's kind of taken over, musical a little bit with her
She has, yeah.
incredible skill. But I was like, that one, I'm still like, it was that song where I'm like, okay, I see exactly what the pre-credit scene is going to look like, because I've seen it in the in the
Yeah.
previous two movies. So
Yeah, totally.
that's interesting. But no, I'm glad we got to talk about that too a little bit. So
Totally.
all right, I think it's your turn, Shayla. We're at number 3 right
Ooh.
now.
So for number 3, I put Dr. No.
Oh,
Yeah, I
okay,
know.
okay.
Yeah. It's not my go-to Connery. I appreciate it for what it is. It
Hmm.
really, it started the whole thing off. I love that it's more of like a slow burn. It's not so actiony.
Yeah,
It's more like, like a spy thriller. I love that. Like what I love about it too is just I love that when Bond is doing the most mundane things, that's when the theme comes in. Like he's walking in an airport. Dun, dun, dun. And I
that is
just think
cool.
that is so funny.
Yeah.
I do love it. I like, just because it's at number 3 does I
Oh yeah,
love
no. I mean, I think we're gonna qualify that by every we pick them like, yeah, it's number 5, but in real life it's like actually number 5. So, but
exactly.
yeah,
But yeah, no, I just, like Connery was amazing and he's just like the coolest dude on the planet. Like you want to be him when you watch Dr. No. Like, I don't know, like he's
all the
so
time.
suave, right? And Ursula's really wonderful. And like I love
Yeah, Coral. Yeah,
yeah. He's incredible. And I love that he's just kind of more of like a civilian coming in to help because he knows, the area
yep,
and I love I just love to just like the fear of the dragon and people actually think there's a dragon on that island, but it's just like the mechanic.
yeah.
Like, I don't know, like, cause I can like, like it's just like such a cool little story for that town to have like, oh,
Sure,
there's
kind
a
of like a
dragon
myth, or
somewhere.
like a legend or something. That I'll say that's something that really got my attention as a kid, because I saw it as a young kid. I'm like, ooh, that's verging on spooky a little bit. Here's this
Yeah.
mysterious island, then all of a sudden you tell me there's a dragon running around here or whatever. So then when you
Exactly.
actually see it, you're like, oh. But but yeah, no, that's an interesting point right there. So
Mm.
good call, good call. My number 3 is Tomorrow Never Dies, and Tomorrow Never Dies was my first Bond movie ever. Like that was after I played GoldenEye on the Nintendo 64. I'm like, oh, these are actually movies. Well, let me check it out. And that one, I might even argue that's my favorite Brosnan movie.
Ooh.
And um yeah, it's just one I really enjoy. The action sequences, music in it are fantastic. And Michelle Yeoh is just kicking ass. You don't really mess with her. Like, forget Bond. Like, I'd rather get in a fight with Bond than her. So,
Absolutely. And their chemistry together, like, because I don't, it's not romantic chemistry. It's just the way, like
yeah, that's a little different. Yeah,
yeah, like the scene where like he just like stops to look where she is and she's like scaling down the wall, waving at him, and he's
waving at
like,
him.
oh, and like that is so funny. That's so tongue in cheek. I just think that they are such a good duo. That
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Do you like the kissing scene at the end? Do you feel like that worked when they're on the exploded boat and then they just start making out? I was like, that
Well,
one was like, well, it's like, yeah, Bond always gets the girls a kid. I was like, oh, maybe now is like maybe that shouldn't have worked, but it is a Bond movie, I guess. So
the way that I look at that is like, so they're both agents, right?
yeah.
What if she's just like Bond? Like, because Bond, when he gets with these women, it's not because he loves them forever.
Yeah.
It's like, he's just gone through a crazy mission. Maybe
Right.
he wants to blow off some steam. So I
Yeah.
never took it as a poor shot at a romantic end. I just took it as they're just two agents who just went through hell and back, and they just want to blow off some steam. And yeah,
I really like that take. I have a whole new light. I never thought of it that way. I'm
there you
glad
go.
you said that. See, this is what happens when Bond fans meet. So
Absolutely. Yeah, because I never bought there was not a romance angle really. Like she was always
Yeah.
like, don't get any ideas, and they were always just like,
right.
it was like
Right.
playful, flirty banter, not
Yeah.
romance. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes, but at the end though, hey, they saved the world.
Exactly. I mean, they just escaped. She was, underwater. He had to kill Stamper. They just had to escape the stealth ship that blew in a million pieces. So, yeah, I think you
Exactly.
have to let it go a little bit. So that's a good point, Shayla. I like that. So, but yeah, Tomorrow Never Dies. Michael G. Wilson, consider him slime. I love that movie. Hell, I'm probably gonna watch it when I get home. So
and you can like watch it with the new angle
with the new angle, yeah. I was
of
like,
the end of the not romance.
Shayla knows some shit right there.
So I gotta ask you though, do you like Tomorrow Never Dies or Surrender better? Which song?
Oh, am I a bad person if I say neither?
No, wow. I've never heard that before.
And I've heard the debate before. Because a lot of people, is it Katie Lang who sings Surrender and Sheryl Crow sings Tomorrow Never Dies?
Yep.
And there are people that, petition or will say that, yeah, I wish they had used Surrender instead of, the Sheryl Crow song. And I gotta be honest, none of them. I mean, if I had to pick one over the other, I think I'd go Surrender.
Yeah.
But because it's got a little more of a Bondy feel, maybe a Bondy sound to it, maybe. But I gotta be honest, I'm not really a fan of either, and I don't know if that makes me a bad person. But
no, it doesn't. It doesn't at all. But
I'm guessing do you like one more than the other, Shayla?
I used to like Tomorrow Never Dies more.
Okay.
But now I definitely like Surrender more because I appreciate that it's incorporated into the score as well. Like you can hear it. That
is true.
And I think that's really cool. But I like both. I think that I like all of the songs that came from the Brosnan era, even Die Another Day. For what it is.
Okay.
Like
for what it is, yeah.
It's not a good Bond song, but it's still a bop.
It's kind of like a funky tune a little bit, if anything, from Madonna. So
yeah, totally.
Yeah, I might like Die Another Day better than those two songs. I don't know, all right, here's the other thing too. I haven't listened to them in a while, so maybe this is a thing where I have to go back and listen to them. Like, okay, I can kind of see it a little bit.
Well, if you watch the movie, you'll hear both.
I will hear both, and I will stay tuned for both. So maybe I do have to do that because I guess it has been a while, but never really liked them, up to this point. So
That's
I will
fair.
have to revisit that. So. Okay, I think we're at your second on the list.
Yes. So my second on the list is Tomorrow Never Dies.
Okay.
Because because it's just it's so action packed. There's not a boring moment in it. It just goes, and I'm impressed with like the quality of film that they got, where the schedule was so it was so fast paced.
Yeah, that's right.
And like I think they were like writing it as they go or something. I remember hearing like Anthony Hopkins was going to be Elliot Carver, but then he dropped out because
the script was incomplete. It was incomplete at that point. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's a great film. I think Brosnan just kept getting better and better. Like his performances were all really great across the board, but you can just see like how he wanted to evolve the character. And then of course by The World Is Not Enough, he's way more like, he's got more of a darker side. He's more authoritative. He yells at people a lot.
Yeah. I would say, I think maybe The World Is Not Enough is Brosnan as his best Bond, but Tomorrow Never Dies is him as my favorite Bond, I think, because I think he's filled out that suit a little better. I mean, that hair's kind of, trimmed up a little bit. Like, to me, it was like, okay, yeah, that guy is probably the coolest guy there ever will be. But
100%.
yeah, no, that's a good point, because in Goldeneye there, he was great, but he was verging on a little bit of afro at some points, and he's just kind of a little bit when he's sitting there, looking at the beach when Natalia's walking up to him, like, yeah, he could put on a couple more pounds of muscle, but yeah, no, that's a good call right there. Anything more on Tomorrow Never Dies?
Just that it's awesome, and of course, like Wei Lin is awesome, and I really like Jonathan Pryce. I think he is.
I do too. Yeah.
And I find too, the thing I love about Tomorrow Never Dies is that I feel like the plot is so relevant. Like,
it held up at that time, and it could hold up even today in some aspects.
Yeah,
so.
Like with the whole fake news thing that was going on, and so to have this man who is just creating news stories through killing people and just
starting wars for attention to him, so for his own coverage or something like that.
Like I think that's such a cool concept. And so I love that film. I think it's so much fun, and I mean, like Jack Wade and his dinosaur Hawaiian shirt on.
I do love that. Yeah. Oh, Jimbo,
Yeah. And like the look that Bond gives Jack when he sees him in that outfit, because like Bond's in like his naval outfit,
right?
Like,
right.
What?
Yeah, just kind of like the disapproving look, little head shake.
Their chemistry, I love those. Like, I think that.
I agree.
Yeah, they are so good.
And getting back to Price, people kind of pan him on how eccentric, how he over kind of plays it a little bit and kind of quote unquote hams it up a little bit. But hey, you know what, that got my attention a little bit, and I can appreciate kind of that eccentric, like over the top villain, so to speak. And I think that's really I enjoy the performance very much, is kind of what I'm getting at here. So.
Yeah, and I don't find him more over the top than some of the villains that came from the Connery era or the Roger era. Like, I mean, like, Blofeld in You Only Live Twice. Oh my God. Like he to me is so over the top.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It never verges on the point of unbelievable for me. It's like, I was like, okay, there's an evil dude out there exactly like him, doing the same kind of stuff. So I always bought the performance. I guess that's what I'm getting at here. So.
Me too. I'm right there with you.
So 2 on my list and is Dr. No. So I know we're gonna have the same number 1. We'll get to it, but Dr. No, it's probably my 4th favorite Connery movie, and just one I go back to all the time. I just love the location of Jamaica. I just feel like that's where he belongs, and I'm kind of excited we're getting back to it in the new movie coming out here.
Yeah,
but I just kind of love. I think I appreciate how different it actually is, because they didn't know what they had at that point. They didn't have the mold. They didn't know where the series was going. It was honestly just kind of like a low budget film, based on a popular book. But yeah, I just kind of love, I feel like Connery, just kind of hits the mark, from day one a little bit, and you just kind of buy into the character. Plus Jack Lord is Felix Leiter, and he's pulling off those ridiculous sunglasses, and he's the only man that could do it. And it's just one of the beautiful things you'll ever see. So,
yep.
But yeah, I think, it's I just appreciate the story. And I think the mystery of Dr. No is something that really got my attention as a kid, especially when he's talking to Dent in the little creepy room with the tarantula, and you just hear the voice going up there. I'm like, yeah, that's actually kind of scary. So, to see this guy, the fact that you see him to the end, how it builds up to it is just, I think is something that's kind of lost in the Bond movies that we've had, since then. So, it's kind of like a mysterious character, so to speak. I know they try to do that with Blofeld, but I think it really works better with Dr. No. It didn't work for me in Spectre, but
well, you just don't make them stepbrothers or whatever.
We could get into that. That's a whole nother podcast, and we kind of touched on that when we had Joe Darlington on and his dislike for that movie. But,
well, isn't there like a quote that's like, sometimes you live long enough to see yourself become a parody or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just like, I feel like there's some kind of quote like that. And I
There
feel
is
like,
a quote like that. Yeah. If you go
yeah,
long enough, your stuff, you become a parody yourself or something like
and I
that, or
just
what you
feel like
started.
I just feel like they parodied themselves because it feels like they took that whole storyline from Austin Powers, who was
It's
parodying Bond.
right. It's almost exactly what they did. And people have argued, they're like, well, they're not actually stepbrothers because
Adoptive.
they're adopted. I'm like, guys, they use the word stepbrothers and they treat him like my little brother. I'm like, why else would you say that if that's not the angle you were going for? That's the whole
Yeah.
motivation behind everything. I was like, that's not Blofeld. I actually don't mind Christoph Waltz's performance with what he does with it, but there wasn't really that much to begin
He
with.
is
So
he is very talented.
yeah, I mean that could have been an awesome casting. It is an awesome casting, but the character just was like, oh come on, do something better. So
I was really hoping they were going to like double trick us, because like I know when it was first announced he was going to be Fran Oberhauser or whatever,
right.
but people were still like, nah,
Yeah,
he's not
like
Christoph Waltz.
nice
Like,
try.
it's probably Blofeld.
Yeah.
But I wished so much that they would have changed it up and made Andrew Scott Blofeld.
Sure.
Because have you ever watched Sherlock?
I have not
show?
watched Sherlock, but my sisters haven't. Everyone tells me who has watched it to definitely watch that show.
He is the best. Like his Moriarty is unbelievable. He's so unhinged but so put together, and just he would have. Oh man, his Blofeld. Oh, I would have loved to have seen it, because I feel like they wasted him in the film.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. Like, did they waste his talents with his character?
I think so.
Or what? I don't even remember.
C, yeah, it was C.
C. He was just kind of putzing around there, being a little dickhead. But yeah, I was like, that's a good point, because that could have been, that could have been something right there, a different angle, a new look, other than trying to make a twist on the original concept. So
yeah, like it just it fell flat, and so I really hope that No Time to Die kind of
cleans it up a little bit, kind of brings some legitimacy back to the character and all that stuff. Possibly, yeah, I'm right there with you. So but if we get to our number one here, Shayla, do you want to go ahead and reveal it? Because I think that was kind of like the obvious choice, at least for us, maybe. So,
well, I actually thought the way that you said it, I thought that it was going to be near the bottom for you.
Oh, really? Like, maybe I fooled
because you were so mysterious. Yeah, you did. You were so mysterious.
Maybe I should write a Bond movie, but
maybe. Well, you'd be a breath of fresh air. I mean, which I feel like they need. So
yeah, kind of.
Write it and then just submit it for fun. Why not?
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Barbara, Michael, this is what I have in mind. I'm like, guys, take him off the air. Cancel his podcast, whatever you have to do. But
number one, From Russia with
Love. Okay, so really quick, where does this rank on like it's always hard to rank your favorite Bond movies, but I always go back and forth, but this might actually be my favorite James Bond movie out of all of them. So yeah. But that always changes, it's always, I'd be watching Diamonds Are Forever. I'm just like, God, I love everything about this movie. I love the ridiculousness of this movie. So, but From Russia with Love, yeah, just for me, and it was actually kind of interesting because it was the last Connery movie I saw. Because after I saw a couple of the Brosnans, Tomorrow Never Dies, Goldeneye, World's Not Enough, I used to get like as I would be able to afford them, or someone would buy them for me, would be the VHS, James Bond collection movies. But I bought them all out of order, and thus I watched them all out of order. And that was the last one of the Connerys that I saw. I'm just like, this is the best one. This is the best one. For
100%.
For me, it was Robert Shaw was a huge part of it, and him playing Red Grant, that villain, and that fight on the train. I mean, that's arguably my favorite scene of the Bond, series. That fight, at least for sure, Connery. But just kind of like the cat and mouse, and just kind of like the dark Cold War thriller that the movie is what really makes it appealing to me. How about you?
I love it as well. It's my favorite Connery. I just think it's unbelievable. Last time I ranked the films, because I mean the rankings are very fluid.
Yes.
But the last time I ranked them, it was number 5.
Number 5. Okay, so
which is good.
top
That's
5 for
good.
sure. That's very high.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
yes,
very high.
yes.
I kind of wish the gypsy stuff wasn't in it. That's kind of I just feel like that kind of brings the film down a tiny bit.
I would agree with you there. It's kind of like a scene where it's like, okay, get to the gun battle or something like that. The two chicks fight. I'm like, yeah, I don't really, need that. That doesn't do anything for me. It might do for some men, but definitely not for me. But
But
no, that's a good point.
Yeah, and like same as you, like I loved Robert Shaw. He was incredible as Red Grant. Rosa Klebb, I've got her shoe right here.
Oh
So
my God, yeah, I see the blade, the poison blade.
the
That's
poison
so
blade,
cool.
it's popped out.
Blade.
Yeah,
That's so awesome.
and I just and same as you with the train fight. I love that, and it's so. Like it feels so real because like even when they're fighting and they come back into the other room where Tatiana is knocked out, they hit her, they knock into her,
Yeah,
like
fall into her. You're right.
Yeah, like it's so realistic because they wouldn't be thinking about her just passed out on the bed. They're trying to kill each other.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
it's just it's a wonderful film.
It felt so claustrophobic too in that scene because you're in a tight little train room in the Orient Express or whatever. I mean, I think even the cinematography of that scene is great because you feel so tight that every you push the guy and he's into the wall and he's right back into your face. So I think I really appreciate how tight that fight really was, and it's just it's not like pretty or anything. It's just not like this choreographed fight. It's just like literally it almost looked like they were actually fighting, like two guys, who don't really know fighting moves is just trying to, wrap each other up and, try stop one from bashing into the other. So I appreciate how much of a brawl and how it's like just two big brutes going at it. So.
Yeah, totally. And like what kind of makes From Russia with Love my absolute favorite Connery is that Bond actually like has a lot to do. Like because like in Goldfinger, he's like, what is he?
He's in a cell, or he's in Goldfinger's captivity for literally half the movie. So
so I appreciate what Goldfinger did. I appreciate that was the film that the formula was started, and or as we know it, with
right, kind of like those Bondian tropes, the gadgets, they start to really come forth there,
and like that incredible villain in Goldfinger, like just
larger than life.
No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die. Right, like it's so good. Right. It's so good.
It was larger than life, but it's almost like that was like a Bond of a different era from Russia with Love. It almost like concluded, a certain point, albeit a short point, before it got really fantastical in some aspects of the future films. But very down to earth, very dark, very gritty, and just like you said, Bond has a lot to do. He's always on the mission. He's always trying to figure it out. He knows there's something else going on. Things aren't exactly the way they seem, but he's playing along with it anyway. So,
and the psychoed in the beginning, where you're like, "Wow, Sean Connery, you look really sick. What's wrong?" And,
right.
And then you're like, "Oh no, he's dead."
It's like what?
And I don't know if you ever if you have if you pay I love listening to sound effects. So the sound effect of the mask coming off, that's one of my favorite Bond sound. Yeah. That's one of my favorite sound effects. Because it's just so they do kind of turn up the volume on that one a little bit. It is kind of like one of those very kind of like that ASMR or whatever it's called, that satisfying sound or whatever. But But I just imagine. I wish I had a teleportation device or a time machine so I could go back and watch From Russia with Love in theaters. Because imagine just the vibe of the theater when everybody thinks that Bond gets murdered.
Yeah, just in the first that scene. Shock, you just saw this guy and oh wait, what's going on here? And then
I would have loved to pull the mask off. That.
Yeah. Have you ever seen an older gone back and seen when a theater will show a Bond movie again? Or something like that. I always hear people say, it's oh yeah, I saw, this theater was playing, Goldfinger for one night only. It's I've never, no theaters around me do that. Why nothing like that's ever happening. So
yeah, not here either. Well, I mean, that I know of. I mean, they do play some older movies sometimes. Right. But I remember when Roger Moore passed away, I actually emailed our theaters here and I said, can you guys please do a tribute and just play a Roger Moore
Right,
Bond
throw on
film.
Spy Who Loved Me or
Yeah,
something like
just
that.
something. And they said it was a good idea, but it never went anywhere.
Oh, that kind of stinks. Yeah,
It
that would have been
does.
fun.
I know, and I'm like so jealous of everybody in London because like the one of the theaters there is just playing Bond movie after
Right, you can
Bond
go
movie after Bond movie.
exactly. You could
Yeah,
go see
like
it on the big screen and get the good sound and everything. It's like, I'd love to experience that.
me too. Like there's some just any film really. I don't even care which one it is. I want like because I've only seen from Die Another Day on in theaters.
I think I
I,
was the same way. Yeah, Die Another Day was my first one in the theaters. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
but I didn't. So I saw Die Another Day, and then I think my next one in theaters was Skyfall actually because I didn't watch Casino Royale until like 2014 because
Oh, okay.
I was really, really, really disappointed that Brosnan was recast. And
So you
like,
weren't on the Craig train from
no,
I wasn't either. I saw Casino Royale, but you're not the only one I've talked to that say, yeah, they just kind of skipped over that. And
because
um
it feels like they made Brosnan the problem. Like like he feel like he was
yeah,
fired basically, and he was not the
yeah,
problem in that film.
right.
I think he deserved a For Your Eyes Only. Like I think Dine of the Day was his Moonraker, and he
Yeah,
deserved a For
no,
Your
I
Eyes
would agree
Only.
with that. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, for sure.
but I mean, like now I'm obviously over that
Hmm.
because I mean you can't dwell on that, and Craig has brought a lot of really good aspects to the character, and he's
Yeah,
he's dark a lot, like just like Timothy Dalton was, like
sure,
he has
sure.
that vibe, and he's good. I think the films are kind of a shame. Like I think he deserved a better.
Yeah, kind of like that one standout film a little
Yeah,
bit.
well, Casino is that.
Well, Casino, yeah, yeah. I guess I get. Well, I mean, maybe for the non-Bond fans, it'd be Skyfall
mm-hmm.
because virtually everyone I know is a non-Bond fan. I'm just an outlier. And they say, oh yeah, Skyfall is really the standout one for them, whereas us is I think is Casino Royale. So
Yeah, because I mean, with Skyfall, it's a good film and it's beautiful. It's beautiful,
yeah,
but when you really start to dissect it,
yeah,
it's really plot holy,
yeah, very much. Yeah,
and a lot of Silva's plan just is left up to chance, and
yeah,
it it just is a bummer.
yeah. No,
Because
you're absolutely right.
I don't rank that one very highly actually.
It's still a little higher on my list, but
I could
yeah,
tell you
we
where it is.
tell me where yeah.
It's 16.
Oh, okay. So wow, bottom, more
Yeah,
towards the bottom.
more
Okay.
towards the bottom.
Okay, interesting.
Yep.
I don't have my list in front of me. I don't even know if I have the list updated, so I'll have to do that. We'll have to have you on a future episode to confirm that list a little bit. So
I would love that. Oh.
I'll tell you what. So should we go over our list one more time? Mine was I got Moonraker, Quantum of Solace, Tomorrow Never Dies, Doctor No, and number one From Russia with Love. Ours were pretty close. They were pretty close. We just
They
flip
were.
flopped
They're
two
just
and
a
three
little
and four
flip
and five.
floppy.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess that can
Yeah.
happen when you're drawing random movies and you get some outliers here and there. But it was a pretty good list. I will say I will go back and watch, all of these movies, from time to time, because they're not something of like, I'm not really in the mood for that. Like I could probably be in the mood for any of these movies, just me personally.
Yeah.
But
totally. So mine, just so that everybody can watch.
Just to remind our audience here,
was Quantum of Solace, Moonraker, Doctor No, Tomorrow Never Dies, and then From Russia with Love.
This list sounds very familiar. I feel like it's almost mine because it pretty much is. But
that's so cool. That's so cool, though. That this is the first time we've sat down and chatted about Bond, and now we know that these 5 films we rank relatively close and we have a lot of the same feelings on them, so that is cool.
That is cool and we're near the same age, so I feel like that has something to do with it too, just kind of like where we got into Bond and when we saw it, and so I mean some of these are just great movies, just in any normal day. So Shayla, this has been fantastic. Any hopes for No Time to Die? Anything you're expecting, or is it just I'm at the point where I'm just like I just want to see the stinking movie, and
Yeah.
just I just need to get it out because it's been way too long. So
Yeah, that's definitely how I feel too. Like I hope that it doesn't get pushed back again. I think they just have to let it out, like let it go.
yeah.
Because if I'm being completely honest, I really want to move on from this Craig era.
Yeah. That was a quite, sorry. I was actually going to air, that was actually the second part of it. I was like, are you done with Daniel Craig?
Yeah,
Is it kind
I
of,
mean, it's not his fault completely. It's just they've kind of boxed themselves in to like, so they have all these films where he like all the different actors were basically the same James Bond.
yeah.
And now it just feels like they've backed themselves into this weird corner because in Casino Royale, he's a new 00, like he's newly a 00, and then by Skyfall, he's over the hill. And
Kind of a weird, and then he's
like
found like this resurgence in Spectre where it's just kind of like, oh, I'm just a guy who's back again. So
yeah, and trying to connect all of the villains from his films, especially Silva, where Silva wasn't at all
that was a
interested in Bond.
that was a bad move. That was a very
Yeah.
bad move.
Yeah, so because like I actually find that his era and Brosnan's era are similar because they started off very strong, like a really good one, and then there's just like a slow decline. That being said, I'd prefer to watch Tomorrow Never Dies and The World Is Not Enough over Quantum, Skyfall, and Spectre.
Oh, okay,
Like actually, I think I rate Die Another Day higher than Spectre and Quantum.
Oh,
So,
okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, just like I don't. Yeah, it's it is what it is. But I'm excited. Who do you want to play Bond? Do you have anybody in mind? Not Henry Cavill. I know that.
No, I do not want Henry Cavill to play James Bond because I don't like him as Superman. I just don't. I mean, is he a human? He's a human god. Yeah, probably one of the closest things to it. I don't buy the acting. I don't, and I think he's just too much. I think he's if whether or not he's too famous, I'll leave that up to whoever. But it has nothing to do with it. Like if I felt like he fit in the role, I mean, I'd be all for it. If he just won 6 Academy Awards, I'm like, oh yeah, it's a perfect dude. It's like I just don't buy it. So I just don't buy him. I know he looks like he's like, oh yeah, you look at that guy. I'm like, yeah, he could play James Bond, but him as just an actor, not getting it.
Yeah, and you could argue too that we've already kind of seen his take on Bond in Man from U.N.C.L.E., so we don't really need to see what he would be like as Bond.
Yeah.
We already know.
That is right.
He was basically Bond with an American accent.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. So exactly he's not high on my list either. Like he does look the part, and he would be I think he would be good.
Yeah.
I just also feel like where he's already got Superman, he's already got Witcher, he's already got Mission Impossible, he's already got Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Right.
Stop talking about him.
Yeah, exactly. Because to be honest, I know they wanted him at first when he was an unknown and a younger guy, but it's probably not going to happen now. I actually don't have a name in mind, because here's the thing. Barbara Broccoli fooled us all with Daniel Craig a little bit because I was not on board with that. I saw the announcement with him and his weird hair and that lanky suit or whatever. I'm just like, and I was just like the rest of those jerks out there. I'm just like, yeah, not a chance in hell that's ever going to work out. Coming off of Pierce Brosnan, and then I saw the trailer. I'm just like, yeah, I was wrong. He's cool. So Barbara Broccoli fooled everyone once before. And I'm kind of hoping, she's still in the franchise. I know Amazon bought whatever they did, but they're still in control. And I'm just kind of hoping that they kind of surprise us again with a guy, maybe something, with social media now, anything's going to be controversial and everyone's going to have their opinion. Everyone's going to say what they will. But I'm just kind of like where I just kind of put my trust into them. And I would I've seen the same names floated around. And some of those choices, I'm like, yeah, I don't really know much about them, but yeah, just by looking at them, I can see it. But I kind of want that guy again that'll surprise us, and they kind of get that new, fresh take, like you said before. So,
yeah,
do you have a name in mind?
I absolutely do.
Okay, I'm excited.
I would love, love, love to see Dan Stevens take on Bond.
Okay, Dan Stevens is a guy that I've seen before, and he's a good-looking dude. So I haven't seen what's he been in, because I haven't really not a big TV guy or anything like that. So
that's fair. So he did like Downton Abbey, which obviously that's not
right. Yes.
a good audition for Bond or anything like that.
Yes.
A film that completely sold me on him, and if I can give you homework, I would love to give you homework to watch this movie.
Okay, all right. I still got my notepad here.
It's called The Guest.
The Guest.
And it's on Netflix, and it's also on Prime, I think. And it is just this unbelievable 80s vibe thriller. He's this man that comes to town, and he shows up on a family's doorstep and says, "I served in the war with your son," because the son had passed away, and he said, "I promised I would take care of you guys." And so he comes to the town. He gets to know everybody, and he goes to parties and stuff. And then weird stuff starts happening, and what could it be? And I'm telling you, the soundtrack. As soon as I was done this film, I went on my phone and I downloaded the soundtrack. It's this. It's 80s dark synthy. Oh my goodness, this film is unbelievable, and it is an audition for Bond, in my opinion, for Daniel Craig, for Dan Stevens.
For Dan Stevens. Right.
But it's not I know I just said where I feel like we've already seen Henry Cavill as Bond and Man from Uncle. This is not. He's not playing Bond. It's just that it's proving that he's got the action chops.
Right.
He's such an incredible actor. His the films he's in, his filmography they're crazy, because you have The Guest, where he's I can't even tell you what he is, because I don't want to spoil it for you. And then Downton Abbey, where he's this prim and proper dude. Beauty and the Beast, where he's the Beast.
Okay.
And Apostle, which is this horror film, and it's, oh my gosh, he can just play everything. So I think he is such a perfect choice. And I actually saw an edit. I think it was an edit that someone did of him in a tux, kind of off to the side, and they put the gun in his hand.
Yeah.
I'll send it to you I'll send it to you.
Yeah, send it to me.
I just was
because I've definitely heard the name, and I've got to look at this guy. I'm like, okay, I can see it, but now I got to check out The Guest and see some of his acting a little bit. Okay, that's a good recommendation. Very good recommendation.
I think you'll like it. I everybody I've shown it to has been like, how did I not see that when it came out? What they've just been floored by it, and I'm happy that it's starting. It's got a resurgence, because it did well in theaters, but it's. There's a whole new legion of fans for it now.
Sure, okay. It's kind of developing a late following a little bit, as many films do. Okay, all right. Well,
yeah, totally.
Hopefully I get on that train a little bit, because now I'm intrigued. So
yeah, I'm excited to see what you think about it. And if you don't like it, you can be honest with me. It's totally okay.
Oh, I've been completely honest with you already, Shayla. So I feel like Bond fans can do that. And still feel, comfortable admitting what they like and don't like. Whereas if it was Star Wars or something, say, oh yeah, I actually don't like Obi-Wan Kenobi, and then next thing you know, you're tossed out of the building. So
which that never made sense to me, because they're all opinions. It's just
I know.
If you don't like somebody's opinion, keep scrolling.
Keep scrolling. Yeah, exactly.
Because you can still like the thing.
I appreciate a lot of the different takes on Bond. I love the variety and everyone's preference, because there's so much there. The movies are so different, and they've been different throughout the years, for almost 60 years right now. So I think that's always refreshing to hear, that we all don't like the same thing. I mean, we all do like the same thing, but we like, different aspects of it more than the other. I think that's what keeps this interesting. So
yeah, it's so cool.
You non-Bond fans out there just don't understand. So when we had Joe Darlington on, he one of the president of baseball and whatever, Justin, he's the one that kind of got the start, and we he's only seen GoldenEye. And we try to talk him into seeing some more of the Daniel Craig films here. So I don't know where he's at with that. Probably nowhere. And Vinny, the other host, he's a little bit better. He knows his James Bond a little bit, but he lost credibility when he didn't know about Christopher Walken. So I put them both in the same boat. I know you both are listening, so you know where you're at right now. So
does that mean you have to sit them down and watch The View to a Kill with them?
I don't think they could. I don't think they could stand it, because I have the bad habit of kind of, at least around the people who don't watch the Bond movies, about actually doing the lines as it goes, because that's one of my things. And I'm just like, yeah, this is the best skill I have. Being to say these movies word for word, and it impresses no one, and it gets on the verge of just annoyance. So it was like, yeah, you can say the words to the movie. If only you could apply that knowledge somewhere else, which is, I guess, is kind of true. But that's what I got, and I'm never returning it. So
Love it. Then you shouldn't.
no, I'm shouldn't. I'm not going to. So because I love the fact that I can do that. But like I said, Shayla, this has been awesome. We got to do this again. Do you want to plug your stuff really quick? Because I know you have a YouTube channel, which I've been checking out since I've asked you to come on this podcast. Why don't you give yourself a shout right there?
Oh, thank you. So my best friend Chelsea and I have a YouTube show called Sweet Time with Shayla and Chelsea. If you go to sweettimeshow.com, that takes you to the YouTube. And I think we're in season 3 now. But it's a little bit, with the pandemic, it's kind of hard to film some stuff. But our whole thing is that we just want to make people smile and laugh along with us. Our episodes typically come out on a Monday, just because, Monday's not everybody's favorite day of the week. So if you have a bad day, come on over to sweettimeshow.com and just laugh with us. We do crafts. We did this fun Christmas one where we just did Joy to the World with like instruments you wouldn't expect Joy to the World to be played with, like recorders and spoons and stuff like that. But yeah, we just want to, we want to put some brightness out into the world and hope people enjoy.
Well, since I followed you on Twitter, I have checked out your channel. Your videos are a lot of fun. And your friend Chelsea, she's a piano player, isn't she?
She is.
She's
so
very.
talented.
Some of her covers, they are like very impressive. I'm like, holy cow!
Oh, seriously, she can just listen to a song and then just know how to play
pick it up.
She's unbelievable. I love her to pieces.
Next time you talk to her, tell her Greg from Baseball and Whatever, if that does anything for anyone, really appreciates her talents right there, and she's doing a great job.
I'll tell her.
And you guys are doing a great job. So keep doing what you're doing, please. And we will continue to talk about Bond. I'm going to try and keep this this game we're doing here, alive a little bit. We'll get a few more people on, and Shayla will definitely have you back. And I just want to say thank you for coming on again. I hope you had fun.
Oh my gosh, I had a load of fun. Thank you so much for having me. I'm honored to be here. I've been checking out the Consider Them Slimed. That's how I knew you didn't want Henry Cavill.
What episode did I say that on? What? I can't even remember, because this is like the first Bond thing I've done. That was when
it was the Amazon one.
Yeah, that was it right there, because I was just like, okay, we'll see what happens with this. So it's always a lot of fun doing it. And as I said, we're trying to grow our thing over here, and slowly but surely, we've only been doing it a couple months, but we definitely got some attention in the Chicago sports media here and there. But
nice.
I trade it all for doing James Bond podcast or something like that. So
if I could make money off of talking about Bond all day, it would be the ultimate dream job. Yep. Not to say my job is glorious, saying, oh yeah, I'd leave it all behind. It's like, I think about leaving it behind anyway, but we won't go there. But like I said, Shayla, thank you again, and we hope to have you on soon. Where can they follow you on Twitter? My fans here. Yes, please come flock to me. I love talking Bond, movies, anything. My Twitter handle is Shayla, so SHAYLAYY.
Awesome. There you have it, folks. I'm Greg. This is Baseball and Whatever. You can email us at baseballandwhatever@gmail.com. Follow us at Baseball and What on Twitter. We have an Instagram. I don't know how that works, but it's Baseball and Whatever something. We're on Facebook. I don't go on Facebook. It's also Baseball and Whatever something. That's why Justin's usually here to tell you this. Maybe he'll plug something at the end of this when he edits it. And if you want to follow my Bond stuff, I don't do much, but I'm trying to do more. I am at GPropes15, GPROBST15, where I've kind of, gotten to the Bond community a little bit. And it's been so awesome, because pre-pandemic, I thought I was the only one that was into James Bond at this level, but turns out I'm actually a pretty big novice, compared to some folk out there, which has just been awesome to see, and everyone's super friendly. So
that's exactly my same thing. Like I thought I was like, because none of my friends really like Bond. I'm showing Chelsea the Brosnan era, which she's really enjoyed so far.
Okay,
we have Tomorrow Never Dies and Die Another Day to go.
Okay.
But
might be a rough landing, but either way, maybe we'll see. But
she'll have fun regardless. Die Another Day it's a blast, no matter what. It is.
It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
But I didn't know there were so many people out there. Like I am so appreciative every day of this Bond community I get to go to on Twitter and just self in these incredible people with their incredible stories and trivia. And it's incredible.
Right.
I love
even just tweeting a GIF or just a quote or something. That's what I love doing. And then, people actually getting what that means. Cause I'll drop a Bond line every now and again. Like if that's supposed to be something, I'm like, oh, you just wouldn't understand. But, but no, it's totally cool. So, that's been it for Baseball and Whatever. This is Consider Them Slime, the mini vlog. Please give it a watch and follow if you're into baseball. We do plenty of whatever too. We are Baseball and Whatever because, like I said, if we just talk baseball, we would quit. We would quit because baseball can be a drag sometimes. So definitely check out our whatever stuff. You'll have The Simpsons, Seinfeld. We do sports logos, all that stuff. Follow us on Twitter, YouTube channel, and then we're on all your podcast platforms. We are Baseball and Whatever. That's Shayla Miller. She is awesome. Go check out everything she does. I'm Greg, and we will see you guys later. Goodbye, everyone.